Hey, welcome back to Creativity Sparks. We're here in Wild's Art Studio today, and today we're going to be doing free-range doodling. Now, when I think about free range, I think about things that are roaming free, things that are out in the pasture, free to be as you and me, however they want to be. But today we're going to be doing free-range doodling. We're going to be given a prompt, and I will give you a few really crazy prompts. Then we can doodle to it. And it's a good way to open our minds, to think creatively and to think different ways and to be really open to new ideas and how we present those ideas. So for today's lesson, today's spark, you're going to need a pencil, an eraser. My trusty kneaded eraser is always at my side. Some drawing paper. I'm using my drawing pad today. You might want some writing paper too, and a notebook or a journal, whichever you're writing in. A pen, if you prefer that, over a pencil. But those are the only supplies you're really going to need today. If you choose to color things in afterwards, you're going to want whatever you want to color in with, either watercolor paints or colored pencils or markers, your coloring tool of choice. So let me go through my list first. And this list is going to be available online at www.creativitysparks.org, and you can download it if you want to, or you can make up your own. But here is my list. And so I'm going to read some of these to you, and then you can think about how you want to doodle these. Remember, a doodle is just a sketch. It's nothing perfect. It's nothing fancy. It's just a sketch. It's sort of free-range drawing. And again, always okay if you make a mistake. So here's the prompts. Listen carefully and try not to laugh too much because these are kind of silly. A cat stopping a flock of sheep. A pencil drawing happiness. An apple wearing a top hat and sunglasses. A lighthouse reading a book. A basket carrying a person. A paint splatter wearing fancy clothes. Your favorite word wearing shoes. A tree laughing. A sailboat flying through the sky. The number 5 dancing to its favorite song. A bat going grocery shopping. A ladybug water skiing. A bee cooking dinner. So I'm going to choose one of these, and I'm going to do a free-range doodle. So I'm going to choose, I think I am going to choose a sailboat flying through the sky. So I have my drawing paper here. We open to a new sheet here, nice clean sheet of drawing paper. Nothing better in the world. Well, maybe a few things, but nothing much better. And today I'm going to go wild. I'm going to use a black Sharpie. And if I make a mistake, so what? It's a doodle. So I'm going to draw my doodle. I'm thinking about a sailboat flying through the sky. And let's think about what that looks like. I'm going to first draw my sailboat. So I'm just going to doodle a sailboat. I know it's got masts. So it helps catch the wind. A place for us all to sit. I'm going to do a little person out front here. Maybe the clothes are flying, the hair is flying. I'll put a little sailor cap on. And then I'm going to draw some clouds. So I'm going to put some clouds around it to signify that it's flying through the sky. How crazy is that? Have you ever seen a sailboat flying through the sky? Well, today you're going to. And I'll put some puffy clouds underneath my sailboat. And then maybe some more puffy clouds, really to make the sky look like a sky. I like quantities of 3, and so I'm just going to do three clouds here. Then I'm going to draw the sun. The sun's going to be watching my sailboat. And so I'll put some rays around the sun. And I always like to personify things, so I'm going to sort of put a little face on here with eyes, and of course it's going to have a nose, and it's going to be a smiling sun, because it's always a welcoming sun when it sees a sailboat flying through the sky. So I'll draw that in there, make a few cheeks, a cheek, not just a few cheeks, one cheek. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to then draw some lines over here to make it look like there's movement in my sailboat. And I'm going to call this sailboat, you know how boats often have names? I'm going to call this the SS Sky Flyer. And there you go. And I might even label this, because this is going to go in my journal. And when I use these in my journal, if I look at this a year from now, I might look at this and say, what good heaven's name was I thinking? What am I drawing here? So I'm going to label it. I'm going to say a sailboat flying through the sky. I'm going to end it with an exclamation, because it's kind of silly. So there's my picture, my sailboat flying through the sky. Now, what am I going to do with this? I could do a silly story about this. I could make this a beautiful painting. I could add it, I could use watercolors, I could use some nice markers and really find a beautiful sky blue that maybe I could use, and maybe fill this in a little bit with color. I could decide I want to paint it on a bigger piece of paper. I could really use this to just make something really special. Today I decided I'm going to write a little ditty about it. So because this is kind of silly, I wrote a kind of a silly ditty about it. And let me find what I wrote, because it was really, I call it my doodle ditty. It's short, but it's fun, and it goes with my picture. So it's called My Doodle Ditty. Up into the sky, my sailboat and I. Atop the clouds we fly, to the glowing sun's eye. Kind of silly, but fun. But do you see how I'm not usually sitting around thinking about this during the day? Not usually my type of thing to sit in the back porch and be thinking about sailboats flying through the sky. But when I come to a list of free-range doodle ideas, they give me a chance to really think and to have some fun. And it doesn't take a long time. It doesn't take a lot of time. I can now choose to go back and do another doodle ditty if I want to, or draw another doodle. It's really up to you, whatever you want to do. And how much fun would it be for you to come up with your own doodle ideas? You can make up your own list of ideas. I made up this list just sitting here and thinking about what kinds of doodles could I draw that would be really free range and silly. Think about things that don't make any sense. Maybe you and a friend could come up with doodles yourselves. Maybe you can come up with a doodle idea and the two of you draw your interpretation of that doodle. How much fun would that be? And then to compare them side by side. I'd love to see that. So if you do something like that, send it to me, okay? Because I would love to see it. As always, I love to see your work. I'm really interested in what you're creating. I've already had a lot of people responding with all these wonderful things that they've been creating, paintings and drawings and writings and all sorts of things. And I put them up on the website if I have your permission. And I would put them on my Facebook page too if I have your permission. I love to share the work that you're doing. So you can send me your work at barbara@creativitysparks.org, and I'll write back and I'll share whatever you give me permission to share, okay? So let's think about these one more time and really think about what can we do. We can write a silly story based on these. We can write a silly poem based on these. You can create a piece of art, but really it helps you to get your mind thinking. It really helps you thinking, opening up your mind and thinking about new ideas and becoming a little bit more creative. So have fun with it. I'd like to share some art that I received recently, and it's something that one of my neighbors had a lot of fun with, and it was Cheyenne is her name, and she's a new friend of mine because we're new to the neighborhood here, but she's a new friend, and she shared with us this beautiful self-portrait. And let's look at Cheyenne's work. She's got musical notes, so she must really enjoy music, mountains, seashell. She must love going to the mountains and the shore. She's got flowers. Oh, the beach, a baseball. Oh, let's see, a cow. She must love animals. She's got, I think she likes to bake or cook because she's got cooking implements here. And look at that, she loves math. Wow, Cheyenne, I'm impressed. And she loves to paint and to write, all sorts of things. And then look at that, she did watercolor or markers around the outside to really embellish it, and she colored them in. Great job, Cheyenne. Thanks for letting us share this today. It was really fun to see. Where are you finding art? Where did you find art this week? I found art in something that I think all of us have around, especially if you're a kid. Even us adults, some of us adults have it around. If you're a kid, you have a lot of stickers. I found art in stickers, and I found 2 stickers. One of them says, "Pause and enjoy life," and look at the paw prints on there. The other one is, "I heart my pet." I love my pet, and I sure do. Frosty's a great, great kid, and all my alpacas and my chickens are all my pets. I love my pet. So both of these are from the Humane Society, but they took art. They were created using art. They had to design what they were working on. So that's where I found art and stickers. Where are you finding it? We'll end today with a quote. This is from artist M.C. Escher. And if you haven't seen his work, I encourage you to look it up. M.C. Escher. He does fantastic, crazy-looking graphic art. And here's his quote. "Only those who attempt the absurd will achieve the impossible." Thanks so much for joining us today. And welcome to Wilds Art Studio, and we will see you again soon.